Can you hear that? It's the sound of the world happening. Hi, I'm ZGALA, the Art Angel. You can call me Auntie Angel if you like. The world's always happening out there, in here, all around us and stuff. It's kind of particularly loud right now, so I thought I would open with that, as I wanted to make a video. And really, I was going to make a video about LLMs, as I like to call them, or what's popularly called AI these days. LLMs stands for Large Language Models, by the way, and that is mostly what people are referring to as AI, which stands for Artificial Intelligence. And I am using the term LLM instead of AI because I think it's more accurate. And I think actually that the term AI is not only inaccurate, but is leading us to think about language models and intelligence in a unhelpful, faulty way. All that laid out on the table, I got my new little floor robot in the other room. That's another noise that's going on. I think what I hear out there is like a wood chipper or something. And I guess all that reminds me that there's always, in my lifetime at least, and I think before my lifetime and hopefully after this lifetime, there has been and will be this evolutionary process where new technologies, new noises come about. There'll be the same old noises, and then one day there'll be a new noise. Hey, what's that noise? Right? Sometimes it's a new smell, and then in both cases you gotta pay attention. Could be something, that needs your attention right away. And also a lot of times it's just evolution. It's just a new thing that's either come about, or sometimes it's just newly caught our attention. It varies, right? Back to the framework of large language models and what I have been talking to a lot of people about lately. I just, in fact, attended a master class earlier today with one of my favorite coaches, Tom Bilyeu, and he is a big fan of the large language models, which he still calls AI, and I'll forgive him for that for now. But in that conversation, it was clear that there's a rapid divide happening between people who are quickly adopting large language models and all that they have to offer, and other types of, we could call them AI. I don't know if my floor robot qualifies. Is that artificial intelligence? And then we have to get into what's artificial, what's intelligence. It gets murky pretty quickly, because I have frequently argued that I don't think most humans certainly aren't very intelligent, and often aren't very conscious. And that's been a big question, is consciousness a requirement for intelligence? I kind of think not. I heard, this is a very total pinky finger asterisk over to the side. I heard a very interesting theory posed. I think it was someone talking to Tom Bilyeu recently, who said that a good, not Turing test, but a new version of that, in which that we could test large language models, or what's being called AI, for consciousness, is to have them look at quantum particles, because it's been proven that when a conscious being looks at a particle or at a wave, it becomes a particle. The slit experiment being a famous demonstration of some of the properties of this quantum nature of the universe, which responds to being witnessed. And so the very exciting proposition or theory posed recently that I heard was that if we let these AI models witness quantum particles and they change them, then we can know that they have some degree of consciousness, as opposed to if they remain in the quantum field, then we know they have not been witnessed. gets a little murky in there, but I like where that theory's going. I wanted to try to restate it, even though that's, like I mentioned, a pinky finger asterisk, as I like to say. I think that has to do with like tangents and is it trigonometry? I don't actually know. I tutored my son for a year on calculus and trigonometry and learned that I don't know how to do it. It's a good thing that I had the teacher's manual. Anyhow, all that is totally not related to what I wanted to ramble about in this video, which is just about staying current, trying to stay present, trying to stay conscious, really. And, you know, through all the normal noises and the new noises. It's interesting, another pinky finger asterisk, new noises can be distracting, but the normal noises, as I was calling them, can like, we can become unaware of them because they blend in, but they still are actually distracting and taking up a level of bandwidth in our data processing. And I think this is underappreciated as we're having, like, I don't know if you can hear my computer's doing things over there. There's all this input that we're getting, and we may not be aware of it, but a lot of it is vaguely or sometimes highly distressing or disturbing. I'm a little bit hesitant in that because I'm thinking, if you were in the forest, there'd be a lot of animal noises. And if you're a city person, those would be distressing as well. So there is certainly always that aspect of relativity. But the point I was trying to get at is, I think exactly that there's always that ongoing relativity part, and there's always whatever is new seems like Chicken Little seems like the sky is falling, and it seems enormous because it's taking up a lot of our conscious awareness because it's new. But, and also, it's not necessarily as large, proportionally important in the whole grand scheme of things. Like, most of the time, the sky is not actually falling, even if it does sound like that or look like that. And yeah, lately there's a lot of Chicken Little energy around me. A lot of people running around like chickens with their heads cut off, as they say, as the saying goes. And obviously that's hyperbolic of me to say, and I'm not trying to dehumanize people, even though I just did. Did you catch that? No, I'm trying to hold myself more accountable to not dehumanize other humans and notice when my fellow humans are doing it, and not necessarily call them out on it, although sometimes I do, but I've found sometimes that just makes me into what I don't like. But just to notice it and to try to not do that as much myself, basically, is where I'm at with most of that. Yeah, and come back around to restating, as I'm trying to do here, that I think things are not as bad as they seem a lot of the time. Sometimes they're worse than they seem. And in both cases, we do best when we stick together a little bit, and when we hold each other and our beliefs a little bit loosely, when we give each other room to be right and to be wrong, even when we disagree. Because I think right now there's just a whole lot of like extreme opinion, extreme perspective, really, heels digging into perspectives that are often not fully informed. I mean, can any of us really be fully informed? And in fact, it's often when people believe that they are fully informed that they dig their heels in. And I put myself in that basket. I am human as well. I'm really trying to continue to keep reopening my mind after it clamps down on a belief. And that doesn't mean not being firm on what I believe. In fact, as I do that, it really helps me clarify what I believe. But even as I clarify what I believe, I can hold some open space, a little bit of room around that for being wrong, for having more information, for learning, more about what the things that I don't know about are. And I'm pretty sure I will learn more, and then I'll probably have more questions and not know even more. That's been my experience. How do you like them apples? How do you like me now? You can like and subscribe. You can let me know. I'd love to know if you have any thoughts about that ramble. It is not actually what I started off to say, but going to share it with you anyway. I'm here to be unedited and real and raw, and hopefully inspire you and I and all of us to be a little bit more present, a little bit more awesome, feel a little bit more well. I'm here often sharing tips and tools for practical healing, and yeah, my book, The Shift, should be out by next month. I've been saying that for like a year now, but really, it's real close. Anyway, I'll be seeing you soon. Ciao for now. Thanks for being you.